At this time, we'll ask Commissioner Shotwell if he would give us our invocation.
Let's pray. Gathered tonight as servants of Isle of Wight County, thankful for the trust our community has placed in us. Grant us wisdom and clarity as we consider the matters before us, that our decisions and discussions reflect fairness and respect for all. Let the spirit of cooperation and integrity shape all that we do so that our work strengthens the community we are proud to serve. Amen.
Amen. That's all who can stand. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May you seated. This time we got roll call.
Bobby Bowden,
Present.
Brian Carroll,
Present.
James Ford,
Here.
Jennifer Boykin,
Here.
Raynard Gibbs,
Present.
Matthew Smith,
Present.
Brian Shotwell,
Here.
George Rawls, Keith Johnson.
Present.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Are there any actions to withdraw on the table this evening?
No items this evening.
All right, thank you very much. Is there a motion on the agenda and consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion on the agenda that we amend the agenda under public hearings, items A and B, to include those public hearings under one public hearing item. Two separate votes, but one public hearing item.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor of said motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposition? Motion carried. All right. At this time, we open the floor for citizens' comments. If there's someone present this evening that would like to bring forth a matter to this commission that is not on our agenda, we ask that you come forward at this time. All right. Seeing none, we close the citizens' comments. Let's move now to our first public hearing.
Application COMP 252 of Backyard Motor Real Estate.
Can you hold on just for a second? Sir, did you have a comment?
Well, I was told to come here to talk about something that's an issue with my home. Am I at the right place? I was told there was a piece of paper for me to put my name on.
There's no sign-up sheet.
No, there's no sign-up sheet for us. And you can come forward
Okay.
if it's not on our agenda, as long as it's not on our agenda.
How much time I got?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay.
Give us your
Thank
name
you
and your
all.
address, please.
Michael John Smith, 20247 Battery Street, Battery Park, Virginia.
Okay.
Thank you all for your service. Appreciate it. I also work for a neighboring city, so I know what it's like to be a public servant. I'm in my work clothes. My wife's in her work clothes. I'm turning 71 in June and trying to retire. But I'm having a difficult time because Isle of Wight wants me to clean up the Chesapeake Bay. Okay? We bought our house in 2014. House was built in 1955. We wanted to start doing some things in the back, put down a driveway and some pavers and just typical little things you put in the backyard. And I came down here and talked to who was then Kim Hummel, and she gave me directions on what to do and what not to do. Unfortunately, sometimes you come down here 3 different weeks with the same question and get 3 different answers. I understand. I work for a city. Things aren't always perfect, but you do the best you can. So in the meantime, over the past several years, we've put things down according to what we was considered permeable. And last March, I decided I wanted to try to get a carport on my already existing concrete driveway that I was given permission to put on. And they looked on the Google map, and evidently I got a letter with all kinds of violations. And now I've already had to spend several $1,000s with surveying and engineers coming out. Now, being told I gotta plant so much bushes and trees in my backyard that it's gonna look like Jumanji 3. It's unreasonable. I appreciate what you're doing. I understand that there's some things I need to counteract with things that might have been put down. But I'm just asking you to get with Shawnee, I'm not gonna try to say the last name because I'll just butcher it, but this is unreasonable. I know what it's like working for the city. I know what it's like that sometimes things don't go perfect. And I know that there's been a history, because of all the homework I've had to do over the past 6 months, that there's been things complicated and not all the Ts are crossed and the Is dotted. But don't try to fix all your issues that you might have made mistakes on in the past 10, 15 years and try to make me the poster boy. Because this is just totally unreasonable. I've already spent thousands of dollars. Now I have to spend thousands more dollars just to try to please Isle of Wight and dot every I and cross every T, while I live in a neighborhood that has no fire hydrant, has no mail delivery, and God forbid we get a package during the week because we got to wait till Saturday, and after 2 weeks they take the package back. I have no mail delivery. We have no paved roads. Every 5 years they put down this slop that looks like oatmeal with stone in it, and that's it. We have no paved roads in that neighborhood. No fire hydrant, no mail delivery. And what's the other thing we don't have, sweetheart? There's a fourth one. No trash pickup. We have no trash pickup. We have a convenience center, Jones Creek, great, but I ain't got nobody coming by picking my trash. So lighten up on this. So if you could do something to ease this unreasonable request and just lighten my pocketbook so I could retire sometime soon, that'd be really nice. I appreciate it. Thank you for your service again, and thank you for your time. You got anything else you want to add, sweetheart? Make it quick. We're running out of time, baby.
Please come up to the mic so it pick you up, please.
And state your name, please.
I'm Donna Smith. I've been working here in Smithfield for years now. I'm one of the local nurse practitioners. We thought we were doing everything the right way. We were trying to make everything permeable that we did. We would call down to Isle of Wight County, ask if we could do whatever we needed to do. The one time that we said, okay, we want a carport, we went and put in for the permit like we thought we were supposed to, and it's been a nightmare since. And it's just, it's thousands of dollars, and it's just every time we turn around, they want us to do another survey, another something, and it's way too much. And it's like, when does it stop, man? And it's like, we feel like we're being punished for doing the right thing and asking for,
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Go
We
ahead.
feel like we're being punished for trying to go the right way and for asking for a permit for something. Because we called. I put the papers down in my backyard myself. I called Isle of Wight County, and the girl on the phone said, yeah, you can do that. And I said, cool, we can do that. And so I put the papers down in my backyard. And I didn't cover the whole backyard. I just gave you a little patio. And I feel like I'm being punished for doing that. And that's all. We just want you to be reasonable, that's all. We don't mind doing the right thing, but we just want you to be reasonable with us, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
Sure. All right, come on, Kate. You want to read the application again for us?
Application COMP 25-2 of Backyard Motor Real Estate LLC, property owner, for a comprehensive plan amendment for approximately 2.5 acres with tax map numbers 0901015 and 0901015B to amend the future land use designation from rural agricultural conservation to business and employment. And application REZN 25-6 of Backyard Motor Real Estate LLC, property owner, for a change in zoning district from rural agricultural conservation to conditional general commercial for approximately 2.5 acres with tax map number 0901015 and 0901015B in order to establish minor motor vehicle repair service and outdoor motor vehicle storage use on properties.
Thank you, Amanda. Good evening, everybody. My name is Caleb Kitchen. I'm with the county's planning and zoning staff. I appreciate your forethought there about combining these into one. I was going to request the same. So my game plan here is to run through both presentations. Both are separate applications, of course, as we've mentioned, but there is a lot of overlap as far as location maps and background and things like that. So I might go through the second one a little bit quicker on some of the slides, but we'll dive into it here with the first one. As Amanda mentioned, the first application is a a comprehensive plan amendment request regarding the future land use designation, specifically to amend that designation from rural agricultural conservation to business and employment. The specific location is 7458 Mill Swamp Road. Its current zoning is RAC, and it's located in election district number 5. There has been a store on this property for a long, long time, and it may very well go back farther than 1940, using some historical records from our county museum. That's as late as I could find, going back to 1940. And through the past, there's been several uses there on the property, to include the convenience store, which still exists today. There's also been gasoline sales there in the past, and the single bay garages that is part of the building. The previous motor vehicle repair use did cease in the 1970s. The country store use is grandfathered. It has existed continuously since, again, at least 1940. And so when the new owners purchased the property earlier this year, they came in and got a change of ownership permit. It's considered a zoning permit back in March, which continues this use. Because today, if you were to bring this out of the ground without the grandfathering aspect, it would require a cup for a general country store in the RAC zoning district under today's zoning regulations. So this specific application, this amendment request is needed to support the associated application for a change in the zoning classification from rural agricultural conservation to conditional general commercial. The applicant states in their narrative that the use would increase local access to minor vehicle repair services, provide job opportunities and entrepreneurial growth, utilize an existing structure and land efficiently, and enhance convenience for nearby residents. Again, the proposed use would not allow major repairs, which would include repairs to heavy equipment, engine or transmission replacements. This is a location map. You can see it's located on the south side of the intersection with Mill Swamp Road and Ponds Road, right around the corner from, Modest Neck Road. And there's two distinct properties. You can see this is 015 with a store on it, and then 015B is the vacant lot to the rear. That's partially open and partially wooded. This is the current zoning map in the area. All of that open land is zoned RAC. Those green parcels over there to the right are previous subdivisions under the rural residential sliding scale. This is the future land use designation for this area from the 2020 adopted comprehensive plan, showing all these properties in RAC along with all the other properties around it. Those areas where you can see the underlying aerial image are environmental conservation. This is a concept plan that the applicant submitted showing the rear property primarily being used as the vehicle storage, outdoor motor vehicle storage use, in the front there with the general store on the left side and the vehicle shop there on the right. This is a view coming westbound on Mill Swamp Road towards the property. This is a view coming south from Ponds Road towards the property. This is the rear yard where the outdoor motor vehicle storage will be located. And this is just an image of the back of that bay door. You can see with the, looks like it's 2x4s propped up against it there. So, the comprehensive plan offers certain performance and location criteria for the specific land use designations, okay? The comprehensive plan's future recommended land use designation, again, for these properties is rural agricultural conservation. And the applicant is seeking to change that to business and employment in support of the associated rezoning application. The adopted 2020 comprehensive plan describes RAC as the majority of areas encompassing agricultural and forested land activity, which is designed to preserve and protect the rural character of the county. These areas are meant for very limited development and are almost exclusively located outside of the developmental service districts. These areas should remain largely in agricultural and forestry uses, Non-farm uses such as agricultural and forest product processing and distribution, resource extraction, and uses reliant on large areas of land such as solar farms and agritourism may also be appropriate when cited correctly. Scattered or small clusters of residential uses are typical, but should be oriented to avoid stripping out the road frontage. The business and employment land use is described in the comprehensive plan as land intended to promote employment creation and commercial development. These areas should be developed with a mix of office, commercial, and light industrial uses. Expected development in BE might include medical offices, an office park in a campus-like setting, supporting retail services, community shopping centers, light manufacturing, research and development, and other low-intensity industrial uses which are compatible with the surrounding development. The BE land use is best located on major transportation routes and at major intersections. BE should be master planned for coordination with surrounding uses and quality of design internally, and BE should also have access to public water and sewer infrastructure with the capacity for more intense development and be connected to residential uses with vehicular and pedestrian uses, or pedestrian access. These subject properties, again, are not located within the county's 3 development service districts. Since 1991, the county's policy decisions have been made based on the fact that focusing growth around existing transportation and utility infrastructure is less expensive than extending new infrastructure, and that focused growth will preserve the rural areas of the county by removing development pressure and preventing sprawl. The plan describes the DSDs as specific areas identified for development to occur. Outside the DSD boundaries, all land is intended to stay in rural, agricultural, and environmental protection. Within the boundaries of the DSDs, the county has installed or has plans for water or sewer infrastructure, road improvements, and other public facilities necessary to support growth. By design, public water systems are very limited in the areas outside DSDs, which are recommended for future agricultural and low-density residential uses, thereby preserving the county's rural character and controlling public service costs. Following this DSD approach has allowed the county to protect roughly 85% of the land outside of the 2 towns for rural and agricultural uses. In reviewing this comprehensive plan amendment application, staff finds the request not to be consistent with those location and performance criteria that are set out in the comp plan. So taking a look at the application, the identified strength is that the proposed BE designation would encourage job creation and additional non-residential tax revenue for the county to support future public service needs. However, the weaknesses we identified were several. 1, the proposed BE designation is not located within a DSD, which is designed to control and handle more intense commercial uses. Number 2, the proposed BE designation calls for more intense commercial uses, which are not generally compatible with the rural and agricultural setting. The proposed BE designation is not located on major transportation routes or at a major intersection. There is no proposed master planning for coordination with the surrounding uses. There is no plans to extend access to public water or sewer at this location. And the existing zoning district for these parcels, which is RAC, along with the surrounding zoning classifications, are appropriate for the existing RAC future land use designation in the general vicinity. Taking all that into consideration, based on the weaknesses of the application, staff does recommend denial of the comprehensive plan amendment. So let me bring up the rezoning application. Again, same site description, except that this is a request to change the zoning district classification from RAC to conditional general commercial for approximately 2.5 acres, which is the total of both parcels there. Same history, a long one, but it's the same. The rezoning request is to allow minor motor vehicle repair and outdoor motor vehicle storage with a privacy fence there at the location. Again, the proposed use would not include those major repairs I listed before. The proffered conditions will limit the permitted uses on the properties to only allow minor motor vehicle repair, outdoor motor vehicle storage, and the existing country general store use. Additionally, the applicant has proffered that the outdoor storage area will only include operable vehicles related to the minor motor vehicle repair service, that no additional service bays will be constructed, and that the number of vehicles stored outdoors in the rear yard shall not exceed 20 vehicles at any one time. Again, same maps here. We can certainly come back to them if needed. I did include in this presentation a surveyed site plan. It looks like it's the plat, actually the recorded plat for the property that's on file at the clerk's office. If we need to come back and take, specific looks at this one, we can for sure. Same views. Again, the current future land use designation is RAC. However, they're seeking the amendment to BE. Looking at the zoning ordinance, the current zoning district is RAC. This district is intended to preserve and protect areas of Isle of Wight County that are predominantly in agricultural use and maintain the land base necessary to support agricultural activity. This district is designed to protect the agricultural industry from sprawling residential development that displaces substantial areas of agricultural land for a small number of dwelling units. Non-farm residents should recognize that they are located in a rural agricultural environment where the right to farm has been established as county policy. And the proposed zoning district designation, conditional general commercial, which is subject to these attached voluntary proffered conditions. This district is intended to provide the full range of commercial activities and establishments which are not primarily related to residential developments and which require accessibility from higher order roadways than the limited commercial districts. This district is also intended to accommodate high auto-oriented uses such as auto sales and service, convenience stores, motor vehicle fuel stations, as well as planned shopping centers. Performance standards are included to ensure that access points are controlled, landscape surface ratios are adequate, and street buffering is adequate. Again, I did mention that the proffered conditions with this application in particular, I will say the uses are proffered. If any future owner or future applicant comes in to add on to those uses, they would have to submit a proffer statement amendment. That proffer statement amendment would go to the Board of Supervisors and not necessarily to the Planning Commission. If the Board of Supervisors approves of the rezoning and associated comp plan amendment, the next step in the review process would include submission of a boundary line adjustment to vacate the property lines between parcels 15 and 15B. And once that plat is recorded, the applicant would then be required to submit a preliminary site plan designed by a licensed engineer for approval and subsequent issuance of the zoning permit before operation of the vehicle repair garage could begin. We did send this application out to different local and state agencies for their comments. Fire Rescue and the sheriffs had no concerns. Our Economic Development Department supports the application to reestablish the use, since it will provide the service to the surrounding community and create jobs. We sent it to our environmental planner, and she echoed the comments from a Phase 1 environmental site analysis that our zoning administrator required because of its proximity, the storage area's proximity to a community well system. And as you can see, the report basically stated that negative impacts on the soil and superficial groundwater may have occurred from the previous motor vehicle repair service from many, many years ago, and so that any future land disturbance would need to include proper mitigation and be handled correctly when you're dealing with automotive or petroleum waste products. And VDOT does recommend limiting the site to a defined single entrance during site plan review. In looking at the strengths and weaknesses, the first strength is that the proposed BE designation would encourage, again, that job creation and non-residential tax revenue. The project would utilize the existing garage bay facility that served as a motor vehicle repair service prior to the establishment of land use and zoning regulations. And 3, the voluntarily proffered conditions limit those potential uses in the GC zoning and help mitigate potential negative impacts on adjacent properties. The weaknesses we identified are that the proposed use is not consistent with the current future land use designation. The project does not include recommended changes to the existing entrance, which would bring it into compliance with current VDOT commercial entrance standards. And changing that zoning classification would create spot zoning that is not consistent with the zoning district designations, nor the rural and agricultural character of the surrounding community. So therefore, again, staff does recommend denial of the application based on the identified weaknesses. I believe the applicants are here somewhere. There they are. They're here tonight, and I will be around after the public hearing should you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Caleb. At this time, we open up the public hearing for this application. Is the applicant is here? Come forward.
Evening, Chairman Bowser, members of the commission. My name's Steve Edwards. I live at 13644 Bethany Church Road in Smithfield. 37 years ago, when I was elected to the Board of Supervisors, we did not have the very good district plans that we have now. They weren't easy to get. I strongly favored them, along with the Chamber of Commerce, and it came into being. But, no, I should say and instead of but. And I hope I have learned something in the last 37 years. I am very much in support of this application, but not for the kind of, I'm certainly not disparaging what's on the board, but not for those reasons. When we put these plans together, a major concern, other concerns too, but a major concern was building up the economy of the two towns, most especially Smithfield at the time. And we wanted to protect the rural areas. And we have done a spectacular job of protecting them physically. But I grew up in more than just a physical environment. I want to see the rural areas in Isle of Wight County take everything good that we used to have and pull them up. And when I think about the role that the country stores had in our communities, in instilling a sense of community and instilling cross-generational values. That's where the old men took their grandchildren. That's where people sat around the stove. That's where people sat around the stove. When I think about those little teeny buildings and the outsized importance that they had, Mr. Blunt's little store even seemed little to me when I was little. Now when I think about it, my God, it wasn't much bigger than a postage stamp. But it was one of the most important parts of that community. I think about Cassie's store, Tommy Delk's, then on up at Ponds, and the real community that was formed there. There was a family that couldn't afford Christmas. And Fanny and Cassie and the people who went to Cassie's store took care of that. And it wasn't a whole lot of patting on the back when they finished. I was down there, I was little. I was down in the store when they did this. And when she came in and they gave them the food and they gave them the money, she was quite touched. But the part that I remember the most was how the old men acted that were in the store. She was saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, and they were just saying, like they would give you a wrench if you needed a wrench. Because that's how strong the community was built around. It was three things really to build a community: church, school, and the little stores. If we have one store come back, is that going to start a rural renaissance here in the county? No, I don't believe that. But I do know you can't build a beach if you don't put some sand down. I am in favor of everything that is good for country stores. Don't ever forget the Surgeon General study showed that loneliness kills more old people than cigarettes. Yeah. These stores were some kind of important, and they can be again. They can be again. They can. Look at what they got going on down there. They got little kids. They got old people. They got people coming from outside the community going in there because it's a country store. And I think anything that we can do, as strongly as I supported these districts, anything that we can do to build a sense of community among the people that live out in the country is a very, very important thing to do. And I recognize everything that Mr. Kitchen said, but sometimes there are exceptions. And I think country stores are a very important exception. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards.
Let's see if the applicant wants to.
That's what I'm going to ask right now. Would the applicant like to come speak?
I don't know if I can follow that up.
Made your job easy for you, man.
Yeah. All right, I don't have one of them fancy PowerPoints that he's got, so I got to read it old school. All right, my name's Dustin Connor. This is my wife, Vicki Connor. I'm representing her. Good evening, Planning Commission. Thank y'all for being here tonight. And thank everyone that's here to help us out. Y'all mean everything to us. Thank y'all.
Let's give us your address also, please.
Store address.
No, your address.
15095 Turner Drive, Smithfield.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Planning Commission, for your time in hearing this and considering our requests this evening. Again, my name is Dustin Connor. I'm here representing with my wife. We own Backyard Motorsports LLC and Connor's Country Store. Small family run, literally me and my wife and one other employee. General store and hopefully here soon a car repair business here in Ivor. I'm here today respectfully request your approval for our rezoning our property so we continue to serve our community in a way that's both responsible and beneficial for everyone. Our building, formerly known as Pond Store, has been around since 1948. As Caleb had also said, it's been a car repair shop, a pharmacy, a voting station, general store. It's been everything to everyone from the 40s until 2025 currently. The country store is still operating as a general store. I invite y'all please to come over, eat some breakfast, eat some lunch. She can cook, that's why I'm fat. So, we also wanted to, it holds a deep history in this area, in Isle of Wight County and in Ivor and the Mill Swamp community. It holds, it means a lot to these people, and we want to keep that going. Since purchasing the building in February, we've given the general store a complete fresh makeover while still preserving its original charm. Many of the decorations from the past decades remain. The original Pond Store sign from 19-something, we don't know how long ago, still remains in the store, and it hangs above the front door as a tribute to its long and meaningful history to the community. Our shop and store are more than just a business. They're an essential part of the daily life for many in our community. When cars break down, families depend on us for safe, affordable repairs without having to travel far. Our general store also serves quality breakfast and lunch to the Isle of Wight County residents, local farmers, out-of-town workers, and our large hunting community in the area. It's a regular stop for local bicyclists on their routes, a meeting place for farmers, a favorite gathering spot for all the hunters that are just about to start hunting in the next week. Granting this rezoning will help us continue providing these vital services and keep a valuable local resource right here in the community. We live in the community and we work in the community, and we want to keep the money that this store and general store and repair shop, we want to keep it right here in Isle of Wight County. I want to emphasize that we've taken care to design our shop in a way that minimizes any negative impacts. We've planned for appropriate parking, safe traffic flow, proper waste disposal, and noise control. We are committed to maintaining a clean and professional appearance that fits with the character of the surrounding area. Beyond serving individual car owners, our shop contributes to the local economy. We create jobs, we support other nearby businesses, and we keep money circulating in our community rather than leaving it. Rezoning this property allows us to continue providing these benefits in a legal, transparent, and sustainable way. I also understand that rezoning decisions require careful thought. I want to assure you that we're open to any conditions or guidelines the committee feels are appropriate. We have followed all requirements needed for the permits, the EPA study, and everything that Caleb and his staff has asked us to do. We've done everything that they've required us to do already. Our goal is to be good neighbors, good stewards of the property, and dependable resource for people of Isle of Wight and Ivor. We are proud to be in service to the very community we call home. We are deeply grateful for the encouragement we've received we have 135 signatures with us tonight, and many people that are sitting here with us from the community tonight as well in support of us. This outpouring of support shows just how much our community values what we're doing, and we want to see this property continue to thrive for years to come. In closing, I respectfully ask for your support in rezoning this property. Approving this request allows us to grow responsibly, meet a real need in the community, and continue contributing positively to the area that we all care about. Thank you for your time and consideration, and if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer anything.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else present that'd like to speak in favor of this application or against the application? You can come forward at this time.
Hello, my name is Robbie Hall. I live at 301 Huntington Way in Smithfield, Virginia. I also have a business in Hall Electrical Contracting that is, we just moved into our new building that you guys approved our flat metal panel wall for us. I want to speak in favor of Dustin and Vicky and the store that they have reopened up. The history of the store speaks to itself, I think. It's been here since 1948, and Caleb pointed out that it's been here since 1940 and probably even longer than that. History is important to this county, I would think. It's certainly important to me. I love history. And what this store, the service that he would provide to the community is paramount. The sense of community that the gentleman here, Mr. Edwards, spoke about, and the congregation that the hunters have there during the hunting season is really second to none. They are busy all the time, and I have to say, if you haven't tasted her food is great. But I highly recommend it. You have a small business that is trying to make a living and doing it the proper way. And I see no reason, have the building being a store since 1940, why it couldn't continue to be a store now. And also had a garage and a bay that serviced vehicles. You had a gas station at one time and all of that. Why in the world would you not allow that to be today? So I speak highly favor of Dustin and Vicky's store. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Anyone else?
My name is Adam Teller, 10329 Stallings Creek Drive. I'm in favor of it. My kids go there after they go to Mill Swamp on Fridays, usually, grab some lunch. That's tax dollars going into the county. I'm not one to care what people do on their own property, but just driving here from my house, I've seen about 5 houses with about 20 cars sitting in the backyard doing shade tree mechanics. They're gonna put a fence up to hide that stuff. Nobody else is doing that. They care about their neighbors, what their neighbors are seeing. They're gonna put tax money back into the county. And that's all I really gotta say.
Thank you, sir. Or anyone else? Almost got you.
Almost. I was kinda, how many people here from the community out there? Raise your hand. How many like what you see?
Hey, come on,
Hands
sir.
up.
Please give us your name and
Yeah, my name is
address
Billy
first.
Brinkley. I live at the other end of the county.
All right.
I live in Zuni, Virginia. We are friends with Dustin and Vicky. They're in our couples group at church. And I've only known him for 3 years, maybe. And I've been out there. I've eaten breakfast. I've seen the store before and after. Have any of y'all been out there by chance? You have? Have you seen what they've done to the inside of it? It looks nice. No, it kind of looks like Mayberry, right? Now they need a goober shop next door. Now they got a great mechanic, okay, but they need a place to fix cars. People, we're looking at 2.5 acres of land. We're not talking about 200 acres. And if you want to talk about preserving the farmland, I don't call a solar farm preserving farmland. Now, I understand what's got to be done. I understand progress moves forward. But I would much rather go out there on a Saturday morning and the old guys do sit around. I've been out there and seen it. I've eaten the biscuits with them. I've met people I didn't even know and talked with them. Place to have your car fixed. Dustin has done me favors, helping me. Honesty, integrity, community, that's what Isle of Wight County I thought was. But what I've seen is a person that spent $275,000 to $300,000 for a piece of property and now is into the progress of trying to make a living and is in now some $20-some thousand so far in this process. I don't understand. I don't understand this at all. We are a close community. Isle of Wight County, I thought. I love it. I love living where I live. Community. This guy trying to make a living. Single family. Offering a service to the community. Why would we not allow that to happen? I kind of like to know if anybody in the past, this has been going on since February. I'd kind of like to know whether anybody has spoken against it. Be interesting to know that. Who has called in and spoken against it and what the reason was. Because in this family, who I've only known for just a short time, honest and integrity, that's what it stands for. And I'm all for it, whatever we can do. And I encourage you to pass this project. 2.5 acres, really? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Was there anyone else?
Can I offer up just a perspective? My name is Rose Gordon, and I live in Smithfield now, too.
Can you do it again at the mic?
Rose Gordon, and I live in Smithfield also. And I also know Dustin and Vicky tomorrow.
Give us the address, too.
My what?
Address.
I live at 21345 Langford Lane in Smithfield.
Okay, thank you very much.
And the perspective that I'd like to bring is the fact that we moved here from the Midwest. We moved here from Indiana. And we lived just outside of Valparaiso, where the university is, but we lived in the rural country. And the Boone Grove Country Store has been there for many, many years. And the only thing that finally took that little store out, we brought our children all of those years, was a fire. So that stayed there for years, and many children passed through, and many families passed through, and we all knew each other, and we grew up together, our kids grew up together. Community is something that this world lacks today in so many places. And if you can keep it here in the county that it belongs in, the reason that I moved to Smithfield, if you can keep that sense of honesty that I find, when I find good pricing even, for getting my car done with people that I trust, minor repairs, we're not talking about bringing in a great big shop. I guarantee you that they will bend with whatever needs to be done to make that business work, but it is for community and not for them. They did this so they could do this in the community. And that's a perspective that I bring from the Midwest, where all those country folk are from. And that's why I moved here, and I hope that you vote in favor.
Thank you. All right, come on, man. Give us your name and address.
I'm Zoe Teller, and I live on 10329 Mill Swamp. Stallings Creek Road.
It's all the same.
And I support their business, and I like getting my VL sandwiches.
All right. Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else? Got two coming at the same time.
I don't want to follow her.
Hello, my name is James Evans. I live at 11316 Burwells Bay Road. We've been going to Connor's Country Store since they've opened. I have 2 young boys and my wife. It's been such a blessing going there. It's everything an old country store should be. It's brought us closer to people in the community that we would have never talked to before. And I work at the VA hospital in Hampton, and I've seen people that work there that's been at Connors from hunting and stuff like that. So nothing but good compliments from that store. And it's such a blessing to the community, and it'd be a shame to see something good try to be taken away. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Mayor.
Don Mazingo, 10088 Halltown Road, Smithfield, Virginia, which ought to be familiar to you, Mr. Carroll. I've known Vicki and Dustin for about 12 years now as a competitor at the racetrack, as a friend, and as a customer. And to have a minor repair shop a lot closer than having to go downtown at the wrong time of day would be a blessing to the community. My experience with Dustin is he's been well respected at their track and as a businessman, and I hope that you guys can see that if the store's been there since 1940, that's 85 years. It's older than anybody in this room. To say that it cannot return to the functions that it has done in the past seems kind of, I'm just a dumb old country boy, but if it's been a store, a pharmacy, a gas station, a repair shop, get those back to the community that we live out in the country so we don't have to go downtown at the wrong time and sit through 4, 5, 6 traffic cycles to get on North 258. Thank you, gentlemen and ma'am.
Thank you very much. Last call. Anybody else? All right. Here we got 2 at the same time. Come on again. No, come on.
Hi. I'm Pamela Yon, 9570 Stallings Creek Road, another neighbor. They've been just the absolute best neighbors. I would really like to see their small business succeed, and I think having their motorsports operation in addition to their store would be hugely beneficial for them. As a small business owner myself, it's hard out there, so just give them a chance for the American dream. Maybe they can't always sell enough sausage biscuits and groceries and convenience items. Also, we have Timberline Ranch. We're a short-term rental where we get a lot of business. We're staying a lot busier than we ever thought we would. Our guests love going to the country store. I'm able to go to the country store and buy locally made items. Guests for their gifts. I give them goat milk soap, honey. The only thing we give the guests in their little welcome gift are items from Isle of Wight County, so made here locally. Just they're complimentary to our business. I'm also part of Mill Swamp Indian Horses and go there to eat after we get done riding. She bailed me out when I was running short on ingredients for my grandson's birthday cake. She didn't carry an item, I think it was cinnamon, that I needed. She said, but I have some. If you come up here, I'll give you a little spoonful so you have enough to make your cake. Just great people, and I was extremely grateful when they bought the place and started renovating it that the country store was going to continue on. And I'm certain that they're going to follow everything they need to do to meet whatever guidelines are set. They've done an exemplary job of reconstructing everything inside, and it's just a wonderful place, and I hope you'll give them the chance. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Gentlemen in the back, you can come now.
I'm in full support.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. We will close the public hearing for this application. Commissioners.
I have three things, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to address. First of all, I'd like to say to Steve's point, Mr. Evans' point, excuse me, earlier, there were 5 country stores between Moonlight and Proctor's Bridge in my lifetime that I remember, and that might date me too, but I once was a little kid, now I'm beginning to be part of the old folks, so. The first thing I want to address is probably with Caleb. I want to talk about this VDOT entrance recommendation, which I am not in favor of if we vote in favor of this application. Is that mandated?
No, it is simply a recommendation, because
Okay.
they are not improving a substantial portion, structures, things of that nature of the property. There's no mechanism for VDOT to make them have that in. That was just a recommendation.
Okay, so it's not going to be required in any way of the owner?
Correct, not through this process.
And not enforceable by VDOT?
No, not according to their letter.
Okay. And then talk about the fence just a little bit.
So the fence would go around the outdoor storage area of the property. I believe that the applicants did submit a fence application, but we put that on hold because the fence will be part of their site plan application. Security fence, it could be 6 foot tall for a privacy fence. It's not an overlay district, it's not, Newport or Highway, so the fence doesn't have to be a particular style or type. It can be a see-through fence or privacy fence.
Okay. And then the third thing is, while I've read their proffer statement, and I appreciate their limit of vehicle storage to vehicles that they're working on, I just wonder why we would limit a small business owner, and if they're okay with this, I'm certainly okay with it, why we would limit them to certain minor repairs and just not let them function and work and make a living?
Sure, because major motor vehicle repairs is a different use category that has additional supplemental use regulations in the ordinance. They are 2 entirely different uses.
So who determines what's major and minor? I got a lot of stuff
So
that
the
breaks down.
definition of major is repair of construction equipment, commercial trucks, agricultural implements, and similarly heavy equipment, including automobiles, where major engine and transmission repairs are conducted. Typical uses include automobile and truck repair garages, transmission shops, radiator shops, body and fender shops, equipment service centers, machine shops, and other similar uses where major repair activities are conducted. And again, there's supplementary use regulations. Under minor, it's repair of automobiles, non-commercial trucks, motorcycles, motorhomes, wrecked vehicles, or boats, including the sale, installation, and servicing of equipment and parts. Typical uses include tire sales, wheel and brake shops, oil and lube services, automobile glass repair, and similar repair services. And I will say this, in our communication with the applicant and what they submitted, it was always their intention to offer minor services. I don't recall at any point in this process where they wanted to work on an engine or a transmission.
I guess my clarity would be, if the brakes go out on the farm truck going down the road, can they not work on it? I don't want to limit them to that. That's my issue here.
That would be considered
We're talking about a repair shop in the middle of the
vehicle.
country.
You want to jump in on this?
So according to our definition, they are not allowed to work on farm equipment. According to our definition of major motor vehicle, it says commercial trucks, construction equipment, agricultural implements, and similar heavy equipment is included in motor vehicle major repair service. If they did want to include that application, we'll have to start over again. It's considered a
We don't
different
wanna do that.
application type. So, and just to clarify, while I'm up here, the rezoning and the comprehensive plan amendment, the country store as it is allowed to continue. That's not a question here. It's just the minor motor vehicle repair portion of it. That's that question.
Okay. That's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I have a question. How much of the back is going to be fenced in?
Their concept plan shows a pretty substantial portion. I don't recall from their, I don't have that map in here. I don't recall from their fence application, the linear
I
feet.
can show it to you
Okay,
if he wants
yeah.
to pull that up.
Yeah.
It's not the whole 2.5 acres, if that's what y'all are asking.
You want to use
What?
the survey to map that
Yeah.
out?
I like the, can you bring up the actual aerial of the backyard?
don't know how to do
The aerial that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, just point and show her.
Okay.
So we can all see it.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so where you, look, I done screwed it
No,
up
that's okay.
already.
That's okay, you got the open space there and the trees.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, where you see pretty much this right here, where it cuts off, this right here will have, none of this over here is going to be touched. That will all remain wooded area from what you see right now. Pretty much
That's okay, that's okay. I think.
Oh, look.
So what you're saying is you would go back into that wooded area, probably at that corner.
Right here
there,
at that
and go line
corner is
across.
coming straight across to be fenced in and on along the sides. The rest of it, we've even talked to all of our neighbors and stuff that are here as well. We've told them and promised them we will not touch any of that. We're not tearing that wooded area down. Yeah, where we're actually.
That's a shadow.
Yeah.
That's a shadow from the
Yeah,
satellite
yeah,
image right
exactly.
there. So the tree line actually probably comes right to the corner.
Right to the corner
Goes
is
right
what-
about there.
Yep. It's just, it's above head shot, so we're not removing, we've talked to him as well, we're not removing any of the trees, we're not disturbing any of the earth, other than putting the fence down. It's the only thing different that you're going to see right now on this building will be the privacy fence up for the neighbors and to keep for noise.
The only thing I'll note as well in relation to the fence is looking at the plat, there is a 10-foot water line easement down here and then a 12-foot right of way to get back to the well lot. So if that, if that line would ever need to be accessed, they have the right to go in there and dig that up.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
10
we've already
foot
talked to them about that as well.
I was just curious because for just 20 vehicles, that's a large parcel to fence in, so I didn't know.
We wanted to
Point
keep it
clarification.
uniform, that way it would look professional and look neat, especially coming from westbound and eastbound. It'll have a nice uniform look. The guy, Scott, he's actually here, that's gonna do the fencing for us. We're not just gonna throw up a fence that's gonna look like crap. It's gonna have some uniform, it's gonna look presentable, nice. So that way on all three corners that you see the fence from, it's gonna look good and presentable. Yeah, and the neighbors were just about to put a privacy fence up anyway, and I told them we're going through this process, let us save you money. If we're gonna do it, there's no point of them spending the money when we already have to.
Might want to come live next door to me. Our neighbor got a bad fence.
Hey, well, did I understand we were combining, doing a boundary line adjustment, like just one parcel?
Yes, that would be needed afterwards. There's some uses in the ordinance that allow you to go right up to and over. Think of like the solar farms. They can go up to and beyond the lines to connect to participating parcels. What?
Try not to think of them.
Yes, understood. But in this case, yes, you would have to, because the motor vehicle use, the outdoor storage is specifically tied to that garage, they would need to abandon the boundary line between the two.
All right,
I think I have one more question for Ms. Rainey.
okay.
I guess, or maybe Caleb can answer it.
I'll do my best, I'll start.
Is the applicant in good standing with previous violations?
Yes, there was a violation on the property from earlier this year. I believe it was August or July or something to that effect. But yes, they're not in violation now. They had begun using the backyard to store some vehicles, and we remedied that. And they put up a sign face without a permit, but we got that permitted as well.
All right. Anyone else?
I'd just like to say I kind of agree with Mr. Carroll and several sentiments of the people this evening. I think that this is an opportunity that we have to provide, level of service to a rural community. I'm glad to hear that the country store is going to be approved, but I can also see the benefit of a nice smaller shop that can offer some services within that community without having to travel distances. Sometimes it can be costly if you have to travel some distances to get auto repair work done. So my recommendation is that we would approve it, so.
Making a recommendation.
Are you making a motion or just a recommendation?
Unless there's any other questions.
Are you putting any conditions with your recommendation?
Let's see if there's any other conversation before I put anything in place in regards to the recommendation.
Okay.
Let me
Is-
just note, this is a rezoning. This is not a conditional use
Yeah.
permit. So there's a
Oh.
proper
Just a
statement.
proper
Property just stay in
Correct.
place. That's all, according to the application.
And one of the things I'd like to mention before you all move forward and for your consideration is that you are considering amending the countywide comprehensive plan as well as the conditional zoning that goes along with it. If it is a regular concern that we have minor services or neighborhood services provided to these small rural communities scattered throughout the county, maybe it's worth a look in the future at our zoning ordinance to allow minor public services such as vehicle garage, minor vehicle repair, country stores in rural areas of the county that may be by conditional use permit rather than having to go through an entire comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning process, which basically is a spot zoning for all intents and purposes, and maybe that there's a better way to go around it than just amending the comprehensive plan every time a minor vehicle storage or minor vehicle repair shop wants to come in to an existing building in the rural areas of the county. So I just offer that
Good
as the
suggestion.
planning director.
Yeah, it's good.
Good, thank you.
Save some money.
Do we, so there's two, we need to have two motions, there are two?
Correct,
Okay.
correct. The first one, you address the comprehensive plan amendment first, and then, in fact, if this body were to recommend that, that would actually alleviate one of the weaknesses on the rezoning application because it's not in compliance with the comprehensive plan. So,
Don't all y'all speak at the same time.
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
On the comprehensive plan, item A, I would recommend approval. Motion to recommend approval.
I second that.
All right. Roll call, please.
Brian Carroll,
Yes.
James Ford,
Yes.
Jennifer Boykin,
Yes.
Raynard Gibbs,
yes.
Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Brian Shotwell,
Yes.
Keith Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I didn't get a chance to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
He was trying to get a fence over it.
Trying to get a fence, man.
Likewise, I would make the same motion on item B, application to rezone the property.
Second.
All right. Can we have a roll call on that also?
Oh, I'm sorry, this is the one then I had questions about conditions.
This is not a conditional use. This is a rezoning with proffered conditions. The applicant has proffered conditions.
Okay, so this is not, so nothing with the environmental concerns are in the proper conditions?
But that is a requirement of, there was a phase one, and they have to comply with that during the site plan, correct?
Correct, but yes, if there was an actionable item in there, they would have to comply with that with the site plan, but there wasn't. It was just a recommendation that if future ground disturbance, where you're digging up a lot of ground, if that happens, they need to mitigate that properly.
Okay. Roll call.
Brian Carroll,
Yes.
James Ford,
Yes.
Jennifer Boykin,
Yes.
Raynard Gibbs,
Yes.
Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Brian Shotwell,
Yes.
Keith Johnson,
Yes.
Bobby Bowser.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Chairman, that'll go to the Board of Supervisors. That will go to the Board of Supervisors on November 20th.
All right. November 20th, the Board of Supervisors. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Can we just hold on for a second? We'll give everybody opportunity. Yeah, we'll leave.
It was Saturday for biscuits.
That's what I thought.
My wife made the best biscuits besides my mom.
I'm just saying that's great compliment here.
But I am excited that this is a floor because there's something on mine.
You're gonna leave, quietly leave, everybody, please. Those who are leaving.
So this will open
Suggest a 5-minute break till we can get everybody out. 5-minute break, recess.
5-minute break, everybody.
That was my only question about that.
Yeah, I mean, because to me, if you're putting up a fence, they're gonna have some disturbance, but.
Call the planning commission back to order. Let's move to the next application.
Proposed floodplain management overlay district regulation changes.
All right, good evening. I'm Shawnee Buesink, the environmental planner. I know we've seen this a few times, so I will try and go through it for you guys. This is the update on the county's riverine flood mapping. So again, this is the special flood hazard areas in the county. It's for the National Flood Insurance Program, and it's mandated if you have a federally backed mortgage to have this if you live in one of these areas. For this, the coastal was redone in 2015. This is going to be the riverine for the A and AE zones only. So again, you have the A zones with the 1 mile or greater around them, and then the Blackwater River is going to be studied for this one. Again, no coastal hazard areas were re-studied for this one. Here's a map of the area. Your red line is going to be your detailed AE where they actually went out and studied. The orange is going to be the redelineated AE zones, which were field delineated by them, and then approximate A zones were model-backed data. Just looking at a flood map to explain to people when they see it is the high-risk zones are going to be the red and blue lines, which is your regulatory floodway. Typically no building in those areas whatsoever. And then you'll have the A and A zones, which are your 1% annual flood, and they have either base flood elevations already established, or an engineer would have to determine that for you. And then this is just looking at what it looks like when they go online to pull up their addresses. I'll show you the flood zones in blue. And these are the new maps that our GIS has created, which is on the county website, and it gives them easier access. It is actually on our computers downstairs as well, if people would want to come in and look at it. For them to type in their address, and when they pull up their address, it will show similar to this image here. I'll zoom in a little bit more. So the purple is decreases on their property, yellow is increase. Some properties have both an increase and a decrease. We did obtain the mailing list, so that will be going out shortly, notifying individuals that they had some kind of change on their property. If they want to see what that change is, we recommend that they contact FEMA, and it will pull up this map and show them if they're increased, decreased, or if they had remained the same. Zoomed in again, you can see a house leaving, a house entering into, if they have a federally backed mortgage, would now have to have insurance if they are now in the yellow. And in the purple, most of the house appears to be out of it. However, it's up to the insurance company if they would mandate the insurance or not. So just comparing it, some minor changes, moderate changes in Franklin occurred. Next to Blackwater, there were some increases, downtown districts, and in Smithfield, a small area was revised, but minimal impacts overall. This is just looking at what exactly a 100-year flood zone looks like over a 30-year mortgage. When we say 100-year floodplain, 1%, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you kind of break it down into the years, you can see that over the course of a 30-year mortgage, it's a 1 in 4 chance of your house. And depending on where you fall in the line, it could increase. This is a summary that we received from FEMA that says that there are 50 new structures being added, 80 are being removed. In total in the county, there are 298 structures that fall in this special flood hazard area. Only 51 of them have a policy, so that remaining number, either they don't have a federally backed mortgage, or they have paid off their home, so they're not required to have it. However, in total, there's 310 policies in the entire county, and that is because, as being a part of the system with FEMA, we get a discount that allows the residents to apply for discounted flood insurance, and so people outside of these special flood hazard areas have taken advantage of that. and this is just our overall community dashboard. It's from 1978 till 2023. We do have some repetitive loss areas, 38 of them. This cost $2.2 million in funds. And again, at the bottom, you see the plus 50 minus 80 structures leaving. And again, the flood risk doesn't just stop at the line, so just because we are getting AE zones remapped does not mean that the properties that lie outside of these special flood hazard areas are not at risk for flooding. Typically, when a flood occurs, it's going to go into the X zones, which don't require flood insurance, but because we are part of the FEMA community rating system, they still offer that national discounted insurance. This is a new feature that has come up that homeowners will now see, and some may see a drastic increase in or decrease in their flood insurance. And how it used to be before is that whatever flood zone you were in, your flood insurance was the same rate across the board. However, with risk rating 2.0, as you can see in the picture, the two houses obviously are priced differently at market value. And now the risk 2.0 not only looks at how close you are to the flood zone or how close you are to the body of water, it looks at what is the value of your home to replace. And a timeline looking forward, we received our letter of determination. We have submitted the changes to the ordinance to DCR. DCR did approve our edits, and the effective date that we have to have everything finalized by is going to be January 9th, and those are when the maps go into full effect. And so the things that we did revise since our last meeting was some of the definitions. DCR said that we had to include more definitions than we initially had used, and we had proposed the no new development allowed in the special flood hazard areas without coming before you guys. We plan on going in front of the board in December, and then after that, if everything is finalized, then we will send it to FEMA for them to get final say before the January 9th deadline. And that is it.
I just have a question out of curiosity. If somebody is in an increased flood risk zone now where they weren't before, is there any type of appeal that they can make through FEMA?
So there are a few things that they can do. They, if they have an engineer come out, so some of them, if they prove that their house was built higher or it's changed in elevation, they can do letter of map amendments or revisions. They can have a study done to say that they're out of it. Elevation certificates are a big one. It just depends on how the house is built, or some can say, hey, my house is kind of out of it or half in, half in. But again, it'll take them out of the mandatory insurance. However, their mortgage company, no matter who it is, could still require it because the lot has something on it.
Okay. Thank you, Shawnee. This is a public hearing, so we open the public hearing for this application. If anyone present would like to speak on this issue, you can come forward. All right, seeing none, we close the public hearing on this application. Commissioners, we went over this last week, week before last week. Yeah.
Just one question. I think I had an editorial comment about some use of acronyms. Did some of that get addressed? Where acronyms were not defined?
So the ones that, when they first appeared, we did spell them out. However, if we didn't mention them, they were still required by DCR to still have them in there whether we use them or not. So some of them may not appear later in our ordinance,
Okay.
but it had to be in the definition.
As long as there's somewhere, but first appearance, you should
Yes.
have the whole name, yep. Okay.
All right. Any other questions on the application? We're ready to move forward with it? Is there a motion?
Motion to send the recommended changes to the board with recommended approval.
Second.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please.
Brian Carroll,
Yes.
James Ford,
Yes.
Jennifer Boykin,
Yes.
Raynard Gibbs,
Yes.
Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Brian Shotwell,
Yes.
Keith Johnson,
Yes.
Bobby Bowser.
Yes,
Motion passed.
all right,
November 20th as well.
okay. Thank you very much. Let's move to old business. And if you will read that for us, please.
Application REZN 24-9 of W.B. Owen and Nell C. Owen, co-trustees of the W. Bernard Owen Revocable Trust and Barger Family Trust, property owners, and GBK Builders Incorporated, applicant to change the zoning district from rural agricultural conservation to conditional plan development mixed use of approximately 12.5 acres with tax map number 3401117, located on Carrollton Boulevard for 35 single-family detached condominiums and approximately 2.7 acres of general commercial use.
All right, Ms. Reed?
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Amy Ring. I'm the county's Community Development Director. This item that you have before you under old business you first saw in July of 2025 for the public hearing. The tax map ID number is 3401117. Again, it's located in the southwest corner of the intersection of Cedar Grove Road and Carrollton Boulevard. Its current zoning is rural agriculture conservation. It's in the election district 4. And the request is to change the zoning district to conditional plan development mixed use to allow for 35 single-family detached condominiums and 2.7 acres of general commercial. The proffered conditions would allow up to 35 single-family detached residential condominium units. It allows for general commercial uses as permitted in the PDMX zoning district, such as retail uses, sales, restaurants, and event centers. Other commercial uses, such as convenience store, funeral home, would require conditional use permit in the zoning district. Common open spaces and amenities would be maintained by the HOA, and the transportation improvements are proffered, which are outlined in the traffic impact analysis. As I mentioned earlier, you first saw this application for the public hearing at your July 22nd regular meeting. After your discussion, you elected to continue the discussion until your next regular meeting. The applicant then asked for several deferrals of the continued discussion on his application until he could address some of the issues that he heard during the public hearing. The applicant did submit a revised proffer statement, TIA, and conceptual plan to include a dedicated right turn lane on Cedar Grove Road, as well as an internal connection between the residential and commercial uses on the site itself. This is a revised conceptual plan. I've circled in red the changes. The first one is on the right-hand turn lane on Cedar Grove Road right here, as well as the internal connection from Kemp's Lane into the commercial site right here. The applicant also showed where he had removed the patios and fences outside of the required 70-foot setback along Carrollton Boulevard. The revised TIA was sent to VDOT for their review and consideration, and they did return some comments. Overall, they didn't have any issues with the proposed right-hand turn lane, but they did submit some advisory comments with regard to the spacing of some of the utilities on site. The first one is that the existing signal pole and cabinet are close to the existing roadway and will be required to meet separation and clear zone requirements. They said it might be required for them to widen the road on both sides and shift the alignment a little bit in order to avoid some of those utility conflicts that were in the area. But overall, that they agreed with the findings that were shown in the revised TIA. So the strengths are pretty much the same as what you saw at your July meeting. The weakness was revised following the new conceptual plan TIA and proffer statement, just notifying that the right turn lane might be more difficult or not feasible due to some of the utility conflicts. So that was just, it's an uncertainty, and then there's a lot of things that have to be worked out. Not that the applicant is not willing to do it, it's just, it's not a done deal, so to speak. With that, I'm available for questions following your discussion. And the applicant is here as well, so.
Okay. Mr. Riddick, you want to come forward?
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Not
I'm Bill
gonna charge
Riddick, and I
you.
represent the applicant, and we were here in July, and I think there was probably close to probably 24 speakers who got up and had comments about this, and I think, without exception, most of the comments had to do with their fear of traffic at the Cedar Grove, Kelton Boulevard intersection, and what was going to happen, and how this would negatively impact that. And Mr. Kemp was here, and he heard all of that. And so we went back to the drawing board, and we revised the proffers, and as Ms. Ring said, we've offered to install a right turn lane at Cedar Grove. Mr. Kellen is the gentleman sitting to the right of Mr. Kemp back here, and he's the engineer, and he's had numerous discussions with the VDOT representatives. And it's not just a matter of whether we can do this. We can do this. It's just how it's going to be done. There are some challenges out there, but there's enough right-of-way, and of course, Mr. Kemp would have property where he can use on his property to expand the right-of-way. So it's really a matter of how it's going to be done, not whether it can be done. And so our proffer is that we will absolutely install that as long as it's approved by VDOT. But he sees, and if you want to hear from him, he'll explain it, but it gets kind of technical. There's pork chops and discussions of radius and all that sort of thing. But the bottom line is it can be done. That was the big issue among everyone. There were other comments about, I think, I've been doing this for 42 years, and I don't think I've ever had a rezoning where somebody didn't get up, or multiple people didn't get up and say, we like things just the way they are, and we don't want them to change, and we don't want anybody else to move here. And there was a whole lot of that kind of comment, and I think that's unreasonable. I mean, if we all had that attitude years ago, none of those people would have any place to live, because we wouldn't have ever built a place for them to stay, or to come and build homes. And Mr. Owen, Sonny Owen, and some of you know him, he used to be the county administrator many, many years ago, and he's owned all that property down there. And he's the one he was really very hurt by the fact that all these people who he sold lots to over the years got up and are complaining about the fact that now he wants to develop another piece of his property when he's the one that made it possible for them to live there. But Ms. Ring, and I don't know how to do this, if you'll show me, I just want to point out some things that we fixed on that plat, because there were a couple of other concerns that you had, and I just wanted to show how we've made this a little bit better. The plat, there we go.
That one?
Yeah. Here's the right-of-way, and we've proffered that would be installed right there. Right here is Kemp's Lane, and we redrew this plat, and it shows that this is an exit-only feature right here. So people will have residents here will have the ability to exit into the commercial area and then access Carrollton Boulevard. And this is different than the original plan, and it will give an opportunity to minimize traffic on the Cedar Grove, because, you know, frankly, people in this area it'll be more convenient for them to exit this way and enter out onto the main highway than to go through the subdivision. And again, one of the weaknesses that Ms. Ring had identified last time was we had patios in the buffer yard, and we've taken them out. And then one other thing, we thought we were doing the right thing and took the trail out in the last iteration, but that was suggested that it come back in, so we've restored the trail, the walking path along in the open area back here. So that's been restored to what our original plan was. We've been working with staff on almost 2 years on this. Mr. Edwards talked about the comprehensive plan. Well, the whole idea was the development service district is where you're supposed to put development. Well, Mr. Kemp is proposing a minimum density. We barely meet the minimum density for this. We are at the very minimum number of lots that you can get, not the maximum. You have developers that come in here all the time and say, we want the max. We want to build everything we can build. He's at the other end of that spectrum, and I would submit that there are not many people that ever do that. But if this piece of property can't sustain a small development like this, I would suggest that there's nowhere in the county that you can put development, because it's on a major highway, the biggest one through the county, and we're proposing traffic impacts or improvements. They're not just going to mitigate this development, but it's going to make everybody else back in Cedar Grove a lot better off. The traffic movement is going to be improved dramatically at his expense. So I would suggest that he's doing the right thing here, and he's always contended that he was doing the right thing. But this property it's It's the right kind of product to go here. Mr. Smith mentioned back in July, the median cost of a home. And I think you cited the statistic for all of Hampton Roads, but the most recent statistics for Isle of Wight, the median home in sale in September was $451,300 and some dollars. And Mr. Kemp is at or below that. So he's proposing a product that I think fits nicely into the county, and it's something we need. Nobody can argue that we don't need affordable housing in this county. The definition of affordable housing is a whole lot different than I think any of us ever thought it would be. And that's, I don't know what has caused all that, but anyhow, that's what things cost now. And so for all those reasons, we think this is an appropriate use of this property. It meets all your requirements of the comprehensive plan, and there was nothing but strengths. The only weakness, she said, I think we've mitigated by the fact that we have confidence that VDOT's going to approve that right turn lane. So based on all of that, I would hope you would see that this is a reasonable project. We're not asking for the moon. It's the right thing to do. And frankly, Mr. Owen, I think he deserves some consideration here. He's held on this for a long time. He and Ms. Owen are in their 80s, and they are both homebound and not in good shape, and they have his daughter stood right here and very emotionally related that they need the money. And I think it's his property, and I think he's entitled to do something, and he's not asking for something that's not reasonable. So I hope you would recommend approval to the board for this. If you got any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Riddick. Commissioners.
I do have a few questions. I guess the first thing related to school impact. So there was an article in the Smithfield Times about how they've changed some of the way they adjusting the numbers for students, and it seems like high school may be at capacity now.
So when we asked schools for their last set of comments, which is when it went in July, they said there was adequate capacity at all of the schools that would serve this development. They had projected that this development would generate about 13 students, and that based on the projected enrollment for the 24-25 school year and existing program capacities, County Schools concludes that each impacted school currently has sufficient capacity to absorb the additional 13 students.
But apparently that's been changed some since.
So they have not adopted
Oh,
new
they've not been
student
adopted.
generation.
Okay.
So they're supposed to hear that November 13th.
Okay, so
So we have to
that
go
still
with current
stays as it
available
stayed before.
information.
Okay. I guess another question I had about the commercial development. I don't know if there's expectations of what type of development would be there for commercial. Do we have any ideas or?
We don't know, and we've had this conversation with Ms. Ring, and she basically said what we've shown is a placeholder. There would be, there's no telling at this point. The days of a lot of big box retail type facilities are kind of over, so I guess we would foresee something that would be more in the service nature, but we don't have any proposal for that right now. We just, in our conversations with Ms. Ring, she just said, look, you just need to show this site as a potential commercial site, and we'll deal with that when something comes down the pike.
I think for mixed use, I mean, there's a pretty broad range of what's permitted and what's conditional. And, there could be some concerns for some types of commercial usage. I think even as far as I think the impact plan that mentioned maybe convenience store or gas station, that would also be conditional use, if I understand it correctly. But also could allow, a tattoo parlor could be permitted or conditional use. And so I'm wondering, is the applicant have thought about maybe putting any restrictions on the type of development? I don't know if we'd want a tattoo parlor or a bar or.
Well, you can't have a bar in Virginia without a restaurant. You have to serve food. That's the rule. By law, you can't serve. They have ratios of how much food you have to serve before you can't.
Well, there's a different type of restaurant versus the bar that stays open until 2 a.m.
Well, you can't stay, can't serve alcohol in Virginia until 2 a.m. either.
Okay, well,
The ABC boys pretty much fixed that whole situation.
well, I guess, I just from a citizen standpoint, they may be concerned about the type of future commercial development that could go in there, may be distracted
Well,
to the.
but you made the real good point, Mr. Johnson. The things that you would have concerns about, like tattoo parlors, they require conditional use permits. So that means they're not just by right. Somebody's got to come here and they got to stand in front of you and say, this is a good idea, and you have to agree. And tell the board of supervisors that you agree too. So that's why that mechanism is there.
Okay.
Checks and balances.
Yeah.
Okay, then one other question. Again, I guess this is related to the environmental type question. So I saw in the community impact statement, so the runoff will be increased, it sounds like from this, I guess because there's a lot of impervious areas, more runoff, and would go off down that little ravine there and then goes into the lake. And it mentions that the applicant proposes to use best management practices to accommodate additional runoff. I'm not sure what that means and what.
That's a statewide standard. It deals, stormwater is about the most highly regulated thing in the state of Virginia right now. And when you design a project like this, or any project, the rule is, and I might misstate this, and so Amy can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically, when you create stormwater runoff, you have to hold it and you have to release it at a rate less than what, it can't exceed what was already there naturally, and so you have to have facilities that hold and release it. And so stormwater is highly engineered, and it never gets past their department if it doesn't meet all the required standards. And so anytime somebody says they're gonna meet the best management practices, that means you have to meet the gold standard of engineering with respect to stormwater. And over the years, stormwater regulations have gotten, that's one of the biggest issues right now in the whole state, and it's become very, very highly regulated. So nobody slides by on stormwater anymore.
In fact, the county is now relying on DEQ to supplement our reviews.
Okay. But I guess
So that's part of the site plan approval. You can't get to your construction plans until the stormwater management has been approved.
So that review is to come in the future, and any BMPs that may be needed, you'd have to incorporate, and maybe even adjust your plan.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, that's right. They'd have to, if they can't meet the regulations. Mr. Kellum, I feel he is a good engineer. He's been around a long time. He's got some white hair there, and he's very experienced, and I'm sure he's done his homework on this, but this is only the first step. Then you have to go into months of engineering to do all this, and the rules that they have to comply with are voluminous and very strict. And so,
That'll be addressed at some point.
Yeah, no, but again, they can't get their construction plans until the stormwater plans are approved and bonded.
Right.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
a
Go ahead.
question from Mr. Ritt.
Yes, ma'am.
So there's no timeline on the commercial space at all?
No, I mean,
It could be built 10 years from now?
well, but
Is that-
probably not. I mean, you can't sell something you don't have. And this has been in the works for 2 years now, and so it would have been foolish to go out 2 years ago and try to find somebody to there's always businesses who are interested in corner facilities like this at a stoplight. I mean, that's probably gonna be a pretty interesting, attractive piece of property. The corner across the street, I mean, that's going at the stoplight too, but it's not zoned properly. So, I mean, it's, zoning has its benefits. Once you have something that's appropriate, then you can go out and market it and sell it to somebody. But we haven't had anything to sell for 2 years.
Well, we've just seen developments that have said, okay, like, once the residential part is built up at like 50% or 75%, then they move into building the commercial. So I just wanted to make sure that clarify that there's none of that is.
There's no, I'm pretty sure Mr. Kemp would sell it tomorrow if he had the right tenant that would want to buy it from him. I mean, but you don't have anything to sell until you have something to sell. And then that's a site right there, and that's a very attractive site, and it's big enough. It's big enough you could put a convenience store, and I think that does require a cup, doesn't it? So if Wawa. Everybody wants a Wawa. If everybody wanted, if Wawa wanted to go there, we'd have to come back in here and say, you know, this is what we want to do. And you don't have to recommend approval to the board. I mean,
This probably has a better shot for a commercial going in there than Ben's Grant.
probably, I would think.
Traffic.
'Cause Ben's Grant's been sitting there for how long? With nothing.
Oh, I know. All that commercial out in front of Ben Grant, yeah. It's supposed to be a Home Depot there and a
Supposed to.
bunch of other things.
Yeah.
I had a question for Mr.
Yes, sir.
Reddick. So I like the idea that there's going to be that one way out into the commercial space to be able to take that exit. Even with the commercial site not being, you know, potentially, you know, we don't know when that'll be started on. Once the residential part is completed, will that road be open?
He'll.
Even though the
construct-
commercial
yeah.
section is not completed?
Yeah.
We'll put it in when I develop.
Yeah, he'll put that in so that that's there from from the beginning. And she can, I'm sure she's gonna make us do that as part of her plan review, but we'll design it that way, so it'll come in that way.
Okay, thank you.
Because that was, I mean, he came up with that after the July meeting, and he said, how can we minimize the impact? And that's, 15 lots maybe that would, or 20 that would kind of potentially use that for exit out on the Kelton Boulevard.
And I think that's still the sticking point is that right turn lane. We heard a lot of public comment about that, and you know, we still haven't. I mean, there's still a big pole there and a box like they mentioned in their memo here. You know,
Well,
how
Mr. Kellum's got it, he's already figured out a way to deal with that.
Okay. All right.
How long would it take to get VDOT to approve what he is proposing to deal with that?
Well, you gotta have plans first. Mr. Kellum, you can answer that better than I can.
How are you doing this evening? My name is Robert Kellum. I'm the owner of Kellum Gerwitz. How much involvement do you want me to get with the stormwater? We have to meet the VRRM.
She was asking about the VDOT approval for the
Oh,
turn lane.
I'm sorry. After getting the comments, I called VDOT. I've worked on 2 projects where they were redoing 17 recently, and they're still working on 17. I noticed when I came up here. They are going to have to review the turn lane and anything we do in the intersection, connection, our discharge into 17. They're going to have to review it. Now, his concern was the existing traffic box and where it was in relationship to our new turn lane. And he says, I think there's enough room to put it between the existing pole and the existing road. Before I came here this evening, I actually went there and looked, and I believe there is enough room. If not, we'll install a pork chop arrangement, which is basically a slip lane around the traffic signal. You see these all over. A lot of times when they're directional, and you have to come in, make a right in and a right out, it directs people. But I'm confident we're gonna be able to meet the VDOT standards.
How long does that approval process take place with VDOT?
It's part of the site plan approval process. We have done a traffic study, have submitted that traffic study, and have revised the traffic study. And they are, I believe, in support of our turn lane request. It was funny because, in fact, when I stopped at the stoplight, I was making a left out, and someone came up behind me from the neighborhood, and they were making a right, and there's no way to get past me. They had to wait until I moved. With this turn lane, it will help traffic movement in the area. And it's part of the review process. It's part of our submittal process. We submit the DEQ, VDOT, the county, and Who else am I missing? There's quite a few different agencies we've already submitted to it that will have the opportunity to talk. But VDOT, I work with all the time, and in Suffolk and this area and in Sussex County, and also do work over on the Eastern Shore.
Ms. Boykin, the short answer to your question is VDOT doesn't approve anything until there's an actual submission of a site plan.
Right.
They just give their opinion, as they've done in this case, but not.
Thank you. Sometimes I get too involved.
But the other thing is, this is being shown as a conceptual, it's a mixed use with a concept plan that has to be built in substantial accordance, and they're showing a right turn lane. So if for some reason they can't build a right turn lane, they can't build this without coming back and asking for
That's
a
what I wanted
change.
to know.
Okay.
Yes, that's my
Sorry, I didn't
concern.
answer.
Did I-
No,
did I
that's
state
fine.
that
I may not
correct,
have
Ms.
worded
Rain?
it correctly, so.
I mean, that,
My concern is if we approve this now and VDOT comes back and says no to the right turn lane, they've already got it approved and they can still move forward with
They
it.
said, the proffer is that they will build it as long as VDOT approves it. So VDOT has indicated their initial, no concerns. So we're pretty confident that they'd be able to work something out. So that's the reason behind the weakness that I listed was the fact that it's not a solid yes. It's still a lot of shifting and moving around that needs to be done prior to saying, yes, we definitely can do it, so.
Ms. Wilkins, I don't know, were you here in July? Okay. Do you remember they were talking about how the school bus has a difficult time getting, it's all about the radius and all that sort of thing. And this will fix all of that. There's enough room there in that right of way to widen that, with pavement widening and some changes in that intersection. It's gonna make it dramatically better for everybody. Of course, I don't know that.
Well, I think especially if it's possible to get around the pole and the utility box there. I mean, if that's an option. That'd probably be enough room.
Yeah.
Point about the buses turning, so what I've observed, so if a car's at the stoplight on Cedar Grove Road waiting for the light, and this school bus approaches on 17 to turn into Cedar Grove Road, they can't make that turn.
The radius is too sharp.
Yeah, their back wheels are dropping into a ditch, so they have to wait. So you're saying that what you're gonna do is gonna be able to
Fix all
accommodate,
of that.
fix all that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. There's enough right of way. There's a 50-foot right of way and a 20-foot wide, 22 feet, 24-foot pavement, so.
50-foot right away.
Well, how wide is the pavement?
About 22 feet.
22
like
feet, so there's
12
a lot of room there, and so when they when they rebuild that intersection, there's room to do all that.
That's good.
Okay. Any other questions? Are we ready for a motion?
Mr. Chair, for any time, I would move that we move this forward to the board, accept the changes and move forward to the Board of Supervisors for approval.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions? All right. Roll call, please.
Brian Carroll,
Yes.
James Ford,
Yes.
Jennifer Boykin,
Yes.
Raynard Gibbs,
Yes.
Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Brian Shotwell,
Yes.
Keith Johnson,
No?
Bobby Bowser.
Yes.
Motion passed.
That'll also go to November 20th.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Riddick. All right. Is there a attorney's report tonight?
No, sir, but I will let this body know that I will not be present at your retreat. I have a conference I have to attend, so I will leave y'all to handle it on your own.
Was that conference already planned, or you just planned that?
It's been planned a long time.
Okay.
You need to ask him where the conference is.
Yeah.
The Homestead.
All right. Okay. Ms. Ring?
So just a reminder to be here bright and early at 8 o'clock on Thursday morning for your retreat. We'll grab some coffee and some breakfast to go and then load up. We have 3 cars reserved with designated staff drivers. If you are not planning to be there on Thursday morning, you really need to let me know, because both Dominion Energy and the restaurant that we'll be having our lunch session at has asked for final numbers. So as a matter of consideration for them, if y'all don't mind letting me know if you don't plan to be there. The second thing I have to just give you a heads up about, at this point, we are planning to advertise the Planning Commission, or excuse me, the revisions to the comprehensive plan that are a result of your 5-year review. We have not received any additional comments on that particular plan since your stakeholder work group meeting, and the comments I received from the stakeholder working group. In tandem with that, we will also be advertising the Rushmere Community Master Plan. And again, I haven't received any additional comments for that one either. So we are going to put the final draft together and hopefully have it for you for public hearing at your November meeting, followed by the Board of, if you act on it, then it'll go to the Board of Supervisors in December. So, or January if we have enough advertising time, because I know there's an abbreviated meeting schedule for the month of December. So that's all I have for you tonight.
So Thursday is supposed to be at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Is anybody not going?
Oh, I am going.
Is Ms. Ford?
Mr. Ford, you're not going?
Nah, I can't be.
But what about for those of us who don't drink coffee?
We will have waters and sodas, I believe. So. And some orange juice.
I'll take your coffee.
All day long, twice.
Are we having Ringos?
I will bring some Ringos.
And it just, it will have to go, if you move this forward at your November meeting, it'll have to go to January because the Board of Supervisors is on the 11th, unless we advertise them all at the same time.
All right. Okay.
Yes. I'm sorry. I was going to question for Ms. Ring.
Go
I don't know if this is the right time to ask. It's a question, just a question about traffic impacts. So some of this is new to me, so I've only seen a couple of traffic impact analyses. But does the county look at like the cumulative effect of all the developments that are approved in process or approved or being proposed, to look at the cumulative impact of all these different developments, and how it adds up, to get a better picture of what it's going to look like in the future?
So the approach we typically take, and we usually have a pre-application meeting with the consultant preparing the TIA as well as VDOT and county transportation and planning staff. Once enough development is approved, it becomes part of the background growth. And we usually take the recorded growth in traffic over a certain number of years plus a certain percentage to allow for that new development coming online. And we will ask them to study, we set a scope for what their study should include, and it includes all the developments within a certain area. And that all lends itself to, the cumulative impacts of traffic over time, so.
So that, even like the developments in Smithfield, Promontory, and Mallory Point, eventually traffic is going to end up going 217 a lot.
Yes, yes, and that's considered part of the,
so that's all
the
included.
background growth.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Let's go to you. I don't see you on my agenda. But,
Oh, he's there.
He's there?
He's there.
Hopefully.
How come I didn't see him on my agenda?
It's on the other page.
On the other page? Let me see. Go ahead.
Application EXC 25-7 of Amy Carlesi, property owner, for a waiver to section 324A4 and section 591C of the Isle of Wight County subdivision ordinance to create a family member subdivision lot from tax number 49040009A on a private easement that currently serves 14 existing lots.
Good evening. My name is Cordell S. Benson, and I'm here
with the new business item to talk about exception 25.7, as Amanda was saying, for a waiver to section 3.2.4.A.4 and section 5.9.1.c of the Isle of Wight County subdivision ordinance in order to create a family member subdivision for their daughter on a private road, Mills Point Lane, that currently serves 14 separate lots. The tax map ID is 49-04-009A. The location is at 15424 Mills Point Lane. The zoning is rural agricultural conservation. The election district is D4. And as I stated, it's to waive 2 of the subdivision ordinances in order to create a family member subdivision. Private road, Mills Point Lane. Hearing voices. So the site description, as you can see here, it's just off of Quaker Road, Mills Point. The site is located near the end of Mills Point Lane. The zoning for the area is primarily RAC. You do see a few RR zoned lots around, but all of the directly attached lots are all RAC zoned. The land use is also RAC. The little green area in the side is environmental conservation. The rezoning of the map would take that lot and split it so that it would look something like this. This is the entry to Mills Point Lane off of Quaker Road. Quaker Road is the road that's going up to the left of the, or to the right of the screen. And then this is a picture of the property as it currently looks with the address point there. There's a little bit of a clearing to go down into the property, but there's no dwelling at the end of that lane currently. So there's no single family dwelling on either of those lots currently. A little bit of the background. In 1999, Burton Mills Associates established covenants and agreements for all of their properties along Route 654 Quaker Road. And with that came certain covenants and agreements. One of those stated that if a lot is subdivided, the owners of the newly created lot or lots shall equally share the responsibility for maintaining the road with all other owners in that subdivision. And then in 2009, there was a family member transfer to split the property that you see on the screen is what it used to look like. And it cut the property, and this property right here is the one that we're looking at today. In 2021, the subdivision ordinance was amended to allow one lot from a tract to be accessed from a single easement or right-of-way unless approved by the Board of Supervisors and upon recommendation from the Planning Commission. And the subdivision ordinance also stipulates that all roads providing access to 3 or more lots must meet public roads that meet VDOT standards. Our ordinance review, the 2 sections we're seeking an exception from are those 2 sections. Section 3.2.A.4, which addresses a family member subdivision, which states that no more than 1 lot may be created off a single tract of land that is accessed from a single easement or right-of-way unless approved by the Board of Supervisors with recommendation from the Planning Commission. And then section 5.9.1.c, which states that unless specifically modified in this ordinance, all new streets must be public and comply with VDOT standards. Section 3.2.10.e of the subdivision ordinance lists certain criterias when seeking a waiver to these sections. There's 4 specific criteria that are listed. The first is that granting the waiver will not have an adverse impact on the land use capability, and staff finds that the proposed use is consistent with the current and future land use. The second criterion is that strict adherence to the general regulations would result in a substantial injustice or hardship. However, staff finds that there are currently no injustices or hardships associated with the property, and that the property may continue to be used for its intended residential purposes. The third criterion is that the waiver should not be opposed in writing by the county VDOT engineer or the health officials, and staff has not received any concerns from any of those entities. The fourth criterion is that granted, the administrative waiver shall be consistent with the purposes and intent of the ordinance, and staff finds that the purpose and intent of the ordinance is to promote the orderly development of the county and to protect the public health and safety and welfare by ensuring safe access for all emergency service vehicles. And so staff does not find that the waiver request is consistent with that part of the ordinance. And as such, staff does not recommend approval for the waiver because of its failure to meet the outlined criterion in the ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Cordell. All right. Commissioners? Anybody got any questions?
So can we get emergency vehicles back there for two houses? Is that why it doesn't meet the criteria for the ordinance? Access from emergency vehicles?
So the reason why it was adopted back in 2021 is because there was a concern that the private roads and easements that were accessing all these lots were not being maintained. And we actually had several incidents where the emergency vehicles were not able to access those roads and ended up having to send people on foot or have patients come out and meet them at the road because of the impassability of these private easements. So the board and the planning commission reviewed the ordinance and decided that you couldn't have more than 3 lots on a private street that didn't meet VDOT standards and wasn't part of the state maintenance network, or you couldn't have more than 1 lot off of a private easement in order to kind of cut down on the risks of these situations happening. So when the ability to ask for a waiver is incorporated in the subdivision ordinance, and there are certain criteria which Cordell just outlined that the waiver request has to meet. So because the waiver request does not meet those criteria, it is staff's findings that a waiver is not recommended at this time, but that's staff's recommendation.
I guess the
It's an
answer
objective
is
assessment of.
This road was not one of the roads that was having the issues.
No, it wasn't, and it's a very well-maintained road.
And from an attorney standpoint, has a very strong road maintenance agreement as part of its restrictive covenants. I
And
mean,
there are
they
14
actually
houses.
anticipated subdividing lots and how they would take that into account.
So it's 14.
Didn't you say 14, is that what you said? There are 14 existing houses on it.
Yeah, 14 existing lots that are
Lots,
accessed
but
from.
not houses.
It doesn't always mean that there's houses, but there's the
Right.
potential for a house for every one of those lots.
I mean, it would seem we just have a family that's trying to divide a nice piece of land into 2 pieces to build a house for their family. I'm a little interested in that corner that's cut out to the left and how that fits in.
I think that just means.
Is it just an error? Okay.
Yeah, that's a concept plan, it would have to meet all the subdivision plat requirements.
Right, so that pie that looks like it's not in it is really not there.
Yeah, that pie.
Yeah.
That was my cropping skills.
Oh, I didn't ask you. Not accusing
I'll
of
throw
anything.
myself under the bus.
Wow, you didn't think we'd catch that?
I like your spelling skills too.
Oh, thank
Exhibit.
That looks like something I'd do.
You know, I think it kind of goes back to the point of community and where we all come from and growing up on a corner where all my family's lived for 55 years. It's nice to be able to do this, and Mills Point is certainly a well-maintained road with, I haven't seen the road maintenance agreement, but I've been down it enough, and Morris Point next to it also to know that I don't think it's an issue.
So no more discussion, I want to make a motion.
Okay.
So we approve the waiver of section 3.28, 4, and section 5.9.1.c.
Second.
All right, thank you very much. Can we have a roll call, please?
Brian Carroll,
Yes.
James Ford,
Yes.
Jennifer Boykin,
Yes.
Raynard Gibbs,
Yes.
Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Brian Shotwell,
Yes.
Keith Johnson,
Yes.
Bobby Bowser.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, thank you very much. Okay.
This should go to the November 20th Board of Supervisors.
All right. Cordell, I apologize, man, for challenging you tonight.
I'm glad we could get to the end of the meeting.
We always say the best for last.
Right.
All right, anything else to be brought to our attention this evening?
I just would like to ask Ms. Ring about Darden's expansion.
So we are waiting on the final site plan to come in. We had a meeting with them back in August with the property owner, economic development, utility, stormwater staff, and planning staff to talk about what all the things that we needed to see in their site plan, since this is a new commercial building. It's not a farm structure, it's a commercial building. So any commercial building change in use would need to submit an engineered site plan, if anything, to show the runoff calculation, since they are disturbing more than 2,500 square feet in the Chesapeake Bay watershed. I have also talked to their landscaper and told him what he needed to do there. And I'm just kind of waiting on the engineer to submit something at this point.
It was exciting to see the email from Christie.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say, I was talking to them the other day, and they were talking to the point of the folks that talked earlier tonight about the expense of this process and some of the bids that they had. I believe maybe on the environmental or the stormwater side of it is truly uncalled for a small business owner that, and I understand that we don't mandate all this stuff and some of it comes from the feds, but the price that he was talking to me about, the quotes, it's unbearable in a lot of situations and really uncalled for and unfair.
And it's a good thing we have grant programs from the state to help with those expanding small rural agricultural businesses as well.
I was literally going to ask that question, so thank you for bringing that up, because I do believe that it's important that we provide opportunities for those that have especially been in existence for the length of time a lot of these locations have, and they're just trying to make our communities better. I think it's great.
I think they received, what, 1.2 million in grant funds, so I know that probably won't cover all their costs of their equipment and site development
Yeah.
costs, but hopefully it will help put a dent in it.
Yeah. And is there an update on Tidewater Logistics?
I know that their construction plans did get submitted, but I'm sure they're out for review at this point, because that's been a week or two ago.
Okay, so they are beginning to move forward then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right? Our hearts and minds clear?
Move for adjournment.
Yes.
You didn't even have to.
Good.